All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're slicing into a controversy that seriously defines an entire state. It divides families, it divides friends, it even divides lawmakers. We're talking about New Jersey's great meat debate. Is it pork roll or is it Taylor ham? It really all boils down to one single question. When you see this sitting on a grill in a diner, what do you call it? Because in New Jersey, your answer says a whole lot more about you than you probably realize. And I mean it. This isn't just about what you like for breakfast. It's a line drawn right across the middle of the state. If you're in North Jersey, it's Taylor ham, full stop. But as you head south, you better believe you're in pork roll country. It's a real badge of honor. So to really understand this fight, we have to go back, way back, to the very beginning. We need to talk about the man who invented the meat and, well, accidentally kicked off this delicious century-long argument. Okay, so 3 key moments really set the whole thing in motion. First, in 1856, a Trenton businessman and future state senator, by the way, named John Taylor, he develops his signature product. Then, 14 years later, a competitor, George Washington Case, creates his own spin on it. But the real bombshell, that drops in 1906. And what's so fascinating here is how a piece of federal law, a law that was meant to protect people, accidentally lit the fuse for this whole debate. A law that was supposed to make food labels clearer actually made things in New Jersey a whole lot more complicated.
So here's the deal. The Pure Food and Drug Act of 1906 got super specific about what you could legally call ham. And Taylor's product, which was a processed blend of different pork cuts, well, it just didn't make the cut anymore.
You can imagine this was a massive problem for John Taylor. His brand, Taylor's Prepared Ham, was now literally illegal. He had to rebrand. He came up with pork roll, but, and this is the key part, when he tried to trademark it, the courts said no. They ruled pork roll was just a generic description. And that decision, it opened the floodgates. And this lays out the chain reaction perfectly. First, the product gets a new name. Second, because that new name couldn't be trademarked, competitors like Case jump in and start selling their own pork roll. And third, the divide is born. North Jersey, loyal to the original name for 50 years, just keeps calling it Taylor ham, while South Jersey starts using the new, legally accurate term. Okay, so after all of that history, what's the right answer? Is there a correct name in this delicious dilemma? This right here is the single most important thing to get. It is the key to the entire debate. Taylor ham is a brand of pork roll. Think of it exactly like Kleenex is a brand of tissue or how chapstick is a brand of lip balm. It's the same idea. And if you need more proof, here it is. Taylor is just one of many companies making the stuff New Jerseyans can't get enough of. You've got the other Trenton giant, Case, plus producers like Loeffler's, Hatfield, and a bunch of others. They all make pork roll, but only one of them makes the brand Taylor ham. So we know why the divide exists. But let's get specific. Where exactly is it? Where does Taylor ham territory end and pork roll country begin? Let's take a look at the data. Check this out. A 2015 poll from the Rutgers Eagleton Institute gives us a really clear picture. Up north, a solid 59% of people call it Taylor ham, but down south, it's 65% for pork roll. There's not a lot of middle ground in those parts of the state. But look at this. When you look at the whole state, it is almost a statistical dead heat. Pork roll has a tiny edge, 38 to 35%, but get this, a whopping 27% are either unsure or use different names. And that right there, that explains why this argument is still raging so passionately today. So the bottom line is, picking a name is way more than just ordering breakfast. It's a shibboleth, like a secret password. It's a super quick way to signal where you're from and which side of that invisible line you belong to. Believe me, this whole thing has gone way beyond diners and bagel shops. It's reached the highest levels of culture and politics. We're talking festivals, state laws, and even presidential commentary. That's right, even the President of the United States knew this was a third rail you just don't touch in Jersey. During his 2016 commencement speech at Rutgers, Barack Obama joked about it, but then wisely said he was staying out of it. The crowd, of course, went wild. The passion is so real that for a little while, Trenton, the birthplace of this stuff, couldn't even agree on how to celebrate it. Disagreements actually led to 2 separate rival pork roll festivals happening on the exact same day. And that competitive spirit? Yeah, it extends to eating contests. Every year at the Trenton Thunder minor league baseball game, pros gather to see who can eat the most sandwiches. In 2024, the winner, Jeffrey Esper, packed away an incredible 44 and a half of them in just 10 minutes. This debate has literally caused gridlock in the state government. In 2016, an assemblyman from North Jersey tried to make the Taylor ham, egg, and cheese the official state sandwich. The South Jersey politicians freaked out, so he had to introduce a second bill for pork roll. Of course, neither of them passed. More recently, Governor Phil Murphy found this really clever pop culture way to just sidestep the whole thing. When Taylor Swift's Eras Tour came through Jersey, he temporarily declared the official state sandwich was the Taylor Swift ham, egg, and cheese. A brilliant pun that for a moment brought everyone together. So when you really peel it all back, this debate isn't just some silly argument. It's actually a fascinating story about American history and law. It's a huge lesson in branding and what happens when you lose control of your name. And it's a powerful symbol of how a simple food can define who you are. Which really brings us to one last question. For a state that is so fiercely divided by a simple name, is there anything about this meat that truly brings them all together? The answer is absolutely. The sandwich itself, because it doesn't matter what you call it, Taylor ham or pork roll, New Jerseyans from north to south are completely united by their deep, unwavering love for this salty, delicious, iconic breakfast.